I saw that the Ravens picked up Cooper Rush.
Mm-hmm.
What in the Lamar Jackson has reached a level of black quarterbackdom that has yet to be seen.
He has reached a place in quarterbackdom where it don't even matter. You can bring this white dude in.
Name the last time that happened where it was so good. Like, it might have happened by mistake one time, but it's never been. This team is aware. Like, the Ravens are a team that is that really understands to some degree, as much as a franchise can, some issues of race that I think other teams don't, which, like, they are conscious of trying to make statements that demonstrate some level of progress, like that all black quarterback room from the coach all the way down to all the players.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't like a coincidence. They didn't find it out and then say, hey, look what we did. Like, there's a number of things that they're aware of. So this was not a mistake. They was just like, hey, he's so good, we can go get the best possible backup that we can afford at the price that we like. Congratulations, Lamar Jackson. Fuck that MVP. This is bigger than that.
Well, I think the other level is Cooper Rush at once managed to come in for the Cowboys and win like 4 games while also not threatening the starter.
That's not threatening which starter? The black starter.
Yes, that is. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Like, that is so. Cooper Rush actually might be the optimum backup. You can win games with him, and then when it's over, you're gonna sit his ass back down.
The Ravens are one of the organizations I have the most respect for, and I just realized that I underestimated how much respect I should have for them. I thought that they were like, Lamar made it to this level, we ain't got to worry about that no more. No, they was like, who done this before? They was like, which white man is capable of not dog whistling to the fan base should he have a stretch of 3 or 4 wins?
Well, hold up. What if this, right? What if they had their list, right? And they were going like, yo, can we call Tyler Huntley back? How old is Josh Johnson? Right? Like, maybe they were going through all of that stuff. And then somebody was like, I got it. Hear me out. And then he laid out the whole plan and situation, and you just saw it go around the room just like a ripple. And it was like, yeah, hell yeah.
Ozzie Newsome is from Alabama. Yeah, the things that he is seeing and experienced, and he's still he's not the GM anymore, but he's still a consultant that's very involved in there. And I suspect that a lot of the issues of race are things that Ozzie Newsome, as an athlete who played at the University of Alabama, is well aware of. In the early days, he was one of the first, not the first, but one of the first. I'm sure that whoever had that idea, Ozzie had already calculated it, and it's kind of amazing to think that it feels more likely than not that somebody did that math.
No. I give the Ravens credit, man. They went all in when they got that boy. And they were like, this is what will be required for him to be successful, right? With the Colts, we talked about this before, at least I did with Anthony Richardson. I think where they've kind of messed up is that I think they're really just trying to put a fire under him. Like, I think in a large part, I think they've got to know what ain't a good idea, right? Like, I think they try to put a fire into him, but you can't get that other dude $14 million and then do it. Like, that part, he make more money than Anthony Richardson, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Like, that part doesn't go. Like, you gotta be, if you're going to do this, you gotta be all the way in on it.
And I might go through different times or waves in my life where I view the world and view people differently. But I'm at a point where, like, I sincerely believe in the deepest parts of my soul that people don't change. And I mean, I guess there are some occasions when I'm wrong, but my experience with, and this has happened for a long time, where people would think because I play college football or because I play in the league that they knucklehead son gonna listen to me. And it was earlier in my career when I was like, I don't talk to your son. Like, I'll take a picture, I'll meet him, but I'm not having this scared straight, get your mind right, be like me conversation with nobody else's sons or nephews. I say all that to say, we gonna bring him in to light a fire under him. I don't believe in that shit. Like, yeah, you are, maybe it works for a week, maybe it works for a couple of days, but people tend to go back to who they are. And now there may be some level of maturity that happens for people at different points. I'm sure people change to some degree, but what ain't gonna happen is you bring in some dude and now I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm a new person now. I feel like that's some sort of narrative concoction that like feels good to say, but never actually works.
I think he just needed to know he might lose his job, I think is their thinking, right? Mm-hmm. And I think they had kind of hoped that Joe Flacco would be that because Joe Flacco does have a lot of Mr. Take Your Job in him. I think they might build a statue of Joe Flacco in Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? But then Joe Flacco went out there and the Browns learned what some of us had been trying to say about Joe Flacco in Cleveland. He wasn't actually good. They were just winning games. Joe Flacco does play backup quarterback, though, in the way I think somebody like Joe Flacco should play backup quarterback. What I got to lose? Yeah. Let's go.
That's the way that everyone should play backup quarterback, unless you got a great defense or a great running attack. Like, that's the only chance of winning is that that you hit sevens a couple of times. And then his career in Cleveland end with back-to-back pick sixes in a playoff game.
So. I believe so.
Yeah, it happened fast because I was thinking the fans really gonna want him to come back. Mm-hmm. I remember thinking that before that playoff game, and he might have had a couple of passes in that game that were good, like a long touchdown to the tight end or something. And then them picks happened, and I was like, oh nah.
Also,
they done. It
is my understanding that the Browns were aware that they could not bring Joe Flacco back. That was given the. Now, they were all in. The Browns, you want to talk about being all in on your quarterback. They picked the wrong one, but they was all in.
It looks even. Not that I feel like most of us thought it was a bit outrageous at the time. But it looks even more outrageous now. Like when has anybody committed to a black man after the allegations like that? Oh not never in the history of life. Like I guess, and it's not even after the allegations and contrition and serve your time. Like Michael Vick never got fully committed to again. But, like, he served his time. He came out and said he was wrong, and people liked him again. And then Andy Reid gave him a half commit. I ain't never seen nobody fight a black man who is in the midst of controversy and say, you know what? We going to give him the first fully guaranteed that shit gets dumber every year.
And understand this. Black people was riding for Michael Vick, right? Yeah. In ways that I both understood and also found to be a bit misguided. Yeah. But black people were, in fact, riding for Michael Vick. We were not riding for Deshaun Watson's nasty ass. We were not doing it. There was like never any point in this that I felt obligated to be like, okay, there's some things that you might not understand about where these people are coming from. I did not have to do any of that. Yet and still, Jimmy Haslam was like, how about we give him more money than anybody, not just more guaranteed money than anybody's ever gotten, but way more guaranteed money than anybody's even thinking about giving. Like nobody, they were bidding against themselves.
No. That was their only chance of getting him. He said no to Cleveland. And then Jimmy came back and was like,
you money whipped him.
Yeah. What if they just did it to Myles Garrett? That man got a track record. Got a track record.
Yeah, he's like, no, that is I know what'll fix that.
That's the thing. You and I probably more often than people appreciate talk about how money don't buy happiness. Maybe it don't, but it buy a lot of shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. The way I explain it, I think I talked about it on this show using this analogy, but if you haven't heard it, this is very important. Let's say that I offered you $1 million to kick you in the nuts. You're going to take the $1 million. And when I kick you in the nuts, it's not going to feel like $1 million.
Yeah. Yep.
It's going to feel like you got kicked in the nuts. And after a point, things will get back and then you'll have $1 million, right? But while you're going through it, that $1 million is literally not going to make it feel better at all. It's just not how it works.
It's a perfect analogy, too, because it does not allow for any of the like workarounds that you might have for other analogies where you'd be like, well, you could just use your money to do. You actually can't. and maybe I was gonna say maybe women don't understand this, but I'm sure they get it. They understand it to some degree.
Yes.
But like you can't rub your money on it. You can't buy a new pair. You can't like that's a perfect analogy because everyone's like, yeah, but you could go ahead, yeah. The bed that you rest on gonna be soft as hell. But you know what's still gonna be throbbing? Nuts. Still gonna have a throb. Oh God!
This is all it comes down
to. And Myles Garrett is getting his ass beat again, and while Myles Garrett enters the playoffs next year or doesn't enter the playoffs, recognizing that he does not have a chance at a meaningful win, and that the rest of his career he's going to be one of the greatest players to never win a championship or make a deep run or have any like milestone plays. It's gonna hurt. And ain't gonna be made to feel no better by the fact that he could buy a small country.
Well, the thing that really has to stink for the Browns is they got get a quarterback pick in a draft that it ain't there.
Yeah, it ain't there.
I mean, Cam Ward is a bit of a stretch at 1.
Yeah.
But these other cats are not 2s.
Yeah. I mean, you can convince yourself of anything, and I think it's not hard to stretch your head to understand that Shador Sanders' accuracy and decision-making in a Kevin Stefanski offense will work out fine. It's like when you think about how they produce in San Francisco a bunch with quarterbacks that aren't great, but they always had like a lot of talent around them. He's not really going to get that with a broken Nick Chubb, a depleted offensive line, which was great at one point. That's the crazy part is when they made that commitment to Deshaun Watson, like that team was loaded. And the quarterback they ran out of town, kind of balling now a little bit. Like they were loaded.
I typically don't like subscribe to this sort of thinking, but Baker Mayfield kinda, and Matt Ryan in particular, your teams disrespected you when they put in them calls to Deshaun Watson's nasty ass. Like Baker Mayfield figured it out as soon as he heard this was even possible. He was just like, oh man, they really did this. And you know what, Baker Mayfield, again, he's a starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We overuse the term franchise quarterback.
Right.
He's a start. And by the way, starting quarterbacks, hard to find. Justin Fields starts, but I don't think he's a starting quarterback. Baker Mayfield is absolutely a starting quarterback.
Is that the tiers that you would put it in? It's like there's a starting quarterback, excuse me, there's a franchise quarterback, then there's the superstar quarterback, I guess would be how.
Yes.
And yeah, a franchise quarterback.
And then there's quarterbacks who start.
Yeah. We're not going to discuss anything below starting quarterback because that's we still look at in the draft.
Yeah, like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
The platonic ideal of the starting quarterback. Yeah, he'll start for you, but you're always looking for another one. Alex Smith was a starting quarterback. Joe Flacco was a starting. And you can win Super Bowls with starting quarterbacks.
The starting quarterbacks, the reason why they're starting quarterbacks, I think the best way to describe them is like they don't have that high end consistently, but they can reach it. And generally, they ain't gonna ruin you too bad. Like that's kind of it. Like Kirk Cousins could go off. He could give you 403 touchdowns one day. It's gonna happen once or twice a season, and most of the time he just gonna give you enough play that's not gonna stink. Which, again, back to where we started. You know why Aaron Rodgers can jerk you around, Steelers? Because it ain't that many of them, man.
He's still a starting quarterback.
Yeah, he is still.
He's not a franchise quarterback. But like, and what you kind of hope to get if you do end up in the starting quarterback tier is a starting quarterback who does not scare.
Right.
Because Kirk Cousins scares. That's the issue. He can get you to a play. Sam Darnold showed us at the end of last season. But you know who's a starting quarterback who don't scare? Jalen Hurts. That's who. You can win. You can go to 2 Super Bowls and win a Super Bowl with that starting quarterback who does not scare. Jimmy Garoppolo, starting quarterback who's scared.